Hello, everybody, and welcome to my United News Live. Welcome to United Talks Podcast, where we bring you everything as it relates to Manchester United. All the news, everything breaking. From transfer news to injury updates to player situations and all of that. We bring it to you here. Currently, we're also monitoring games going on in the World Cup qualifiers, especially in Europe. We just finished watching Nigeria beat Benin Republic to make it to the playoff round, and now Portugal are playing on Hungary, and Hungary scored first in about 3 minutes, and then eventually Portugal came back through a goal from Cristiano Ronaldo. Portugal are home, so it's expected that both of them are going to win. Portugal are going to win the game. England are playing, and they've just scored. Anthony Gordon has just scored England's first goal against Latvia. So it is ongoing, and it's currently 28 minutes 41 seconds. So it is what it is. We are going to bring you all the news, and obviously it's not all doom and gloom basically at Manchester United, as people want to make it look like or make it seem like. It's not all doom and gloom. There's a whole lot going on, even though there's reports that there's two of our midfield targets are basically blocked. I mean, our signing our midfield targets are blocked, and then we're hearing so many things back and forth, but we're here to kind of analyze it, give you our thoughts, and just talk about certain things that are going on and everything in between. But yeah, it is what it is. You have to just kind of make of it what you will. Renato Viega just try to clear the ball off the 18-yard box or 6-yard box, but it was from his knee to his arm. So we're just gonna observe as it goes. So basically, we'll keep going. We're just going to do like a quick fire transfer news, then we'll talk about the Adam Wharton and Carlos Baleba, as well as Jobe Bellingham, and we'll tell you what we think. I think we've brought the news about Jobe Bellingham. Eventually, we talked about what we thought about the situation and in another live, and then basically we analyze the situation and we'll still talk about it again. But Manchester United, as of today, basically, with transfer rumors, Man United are reportedly interested in signing Borussia Dortmund midfielder Jobe Bellingham, with reports suggesting that he could return to the Premier League as early as January. United and other Premier League rivals are also on high alert, as a release clause has reportedly emerged for Antoine Semenyo, who has enjoyed a strong start to the season. And Casemiro is also expected to leave at the end of the season, but there's also reports that he Hungary just had a shot that was blazed just slightly wide on the right side of the post. So there was reports that Casemiro could stay, but if he would take a pay cut. So that's pretty much what it is with regards to Casemiro. But then we'll talk about Jobe Bellingham. We talked about Jobe Bellingham a while ago when we said that the player himself is not a bad player, but where does he fit in this team? Plus, he started to have issues with managers as well, even at his young age. Ronaldo just had a shot that was it wasn't Ronaldo. I think it was Bernardo Silva. So basically, it's a back and forth game for its Portugal versus Hungary game, but it is what it is. I think Portugal are eventually going to win. Portugal were kind of unsettled at the beginning of the game, but it is what it is. So with regards to the Casemiro situation, it's very important to note that obviously Man United were interested in keeping him, but I don't think he's also needed in this team, because we need to move on from players over 30 for now. But that's, by the way, not saying that he hasn't done well, not saying he hasn't been a good player for Manchester United. Then we talk about the next one, which is Jobe Bellingham, which I just started talking about. Basically, with him, he's already started to have issues with his manager. His father has gotten involved at some point in one of the training ground situations. One of the game situations where I think he was subbed off basically at halftime, and his father went to the dressing room doorway to challenge the manager as to why he was being subbed off, and then the director the director, the chief executive of the club, and the director of football of the club came out to say something about the situation and try to clarify and stuff. So we don't want all that kind of drama, especially with him being such a young player. And we're not denying his talent. I mean, he was supposed to come to the Premier League with Sunderland, and we're not denying his talent, but it is what it is. But for Jobe Bellingham, I don't think he's the kind of player that we need in this squad. Basically, where does that put Kobe Mainoo? I mean, it's good for us to have, it's good for us to have proper talent in our squad and stuff. But I don't think Kobe Mainoo should be let go. So Jobe Bellingham coming in just kind of blocks everything. If you say, okay, he's going to play as one of the left or right end, I mean, we're already going to have Cunha and Bumo for the next 3-4 years. Is it going to be an option? I don't know. Bruno Fernandes just got a yellow card for fouling someone for mistakenly kicking. We just call it, it's a foul. He's worth it, and even apologized as well. He gets a yellow card for kicking the player in the back, so I guess it's going to be subbed off in the 68th, 69th minute. But it is what it is. So speaking of Jobe Bellingham, it's a big issue, and we as Man United fans will be looking to see how the situation pans out. Dominic Szoboszlai has a free kick in front of the Portugal 18-yard box, and he crosses it in, and Portugal defends it. So all good. Mind you, I'm backing Portugal to win this one, but it is what it is. Cristiano Ronaldo is there, and I'm watching because of Bruno Fernandes. And then I think the third person in that transfer, Antoine Semenyo. So a whole lot's been coming out about Antoine Semenyo in this today. I think I have some notes that I kind of wrote down where we talked about Antoine Semenyo and what the way forward is for him. Let's see. Okay, so for Antoine Semenyo, basically, Alex Crook came out to say that there is a low price or minimum price, minimum price release clause in Antoine Semenyo's contract. There's not much detail with regards to that, but there's a minimum price release clause on his contract, which would also mean that we could get him for cheap. And then obviously, just as the report goes, according to the Sun, Man United and Premier League rivals is what the Sun is saying. Man United and Premier League rivals on transfer red alert as Antoine Semenyo release clause emerges after stunning start to the season. Antoine Semenyo's suitors have been put on red alert by emergence of a release clause in the new Bournemouth deal. Ghana star, who is 25, has been one of the stars of the Premier League this season so far, with 6 goals in his first 7 Premier League games plus 3 assists. Thank you so much, very much for listening to apart from what you just posted. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, ITN. Big up to you too. So he says he was expected. He says he was expected to by many to leave the Cherries in the latest news apart from what you just posted. Okay, so Antoine Semenyo was expected to leave the Cherries in the summer and was of significant interest to Tottenham and Manchester United, but surprisingly signed a new 5-year deal with the South Coast side. Yet, Sunspot understands Semenyo's fresh terms include a release clause, albeit the exact value is not clear. And that's where I have a problem with this report. This guy came out to, what's his name? Alex Crook came out to say, there's a release clause and stuff. But Manchester United told Bournemouth that they'd be willing to pay £55 million for Semenyo when we were in for him at first. Apart from that, to help cement the switch to the Vitality Stadium to Old Trafford, United manager Rúben Amorim and the players also went to dinner in London together at the end of last season. That was a tactical move also used on Cunha and Bumo last summer. So what does that mean? We try to get to Semenyo. I've seen some people come out to say that they would want Semenyo to come into Man United and play as right wing back. I'm like, you guys just want the press to just come out and destroy Man United, where, for example, Rúben Amorim decides to play Semenyo as right wing back, and then everybody's going to come for him and say he's playing players out of position. So yeah, Semenyo is of interest to Manchester United. ITN, thank you so much for joining. He says, I feel that Wharton, Baleba are prem proven, which is a big advantage. However, I feel there's a gem or two around Europe. Yep, you're absolutely right. We'll come into the Wharton situation and the Baleba situation because there's a whole lot going on right now, and it's all up to us to believe what we want to believe and take what we want to take, right? So Semenyo situation, yeah. Now, this one is from the Irish Sun again. Okay, Portugal, Ronaldo has the ball down the left-hand side, and he crosses the ball over to Bernardo Silva, who tries to find... Ooh, somebody's down in the box. There's still 1-1. Neves trying to cross the ball. Bruno Fernandes down in the box. Please, let it not be an injury, please. I think it was kicked. Yeah. Semenyo, he says, ITN says, Semenyo at this point can do a left forward job where Cunha is so I don't see him as needed as exactly, man. He's giving you Mbumo on the left. That's what it is. Semenyo is giving you Mbumo on the left. We need two players, 2 10s who are different. So we have Cunha, who's the driver of the ball, carrier of the ball. We have Mbumo, who stretches the field as much as possible, especially when we want to switch play. And he plays very well with Ahmad. Then you now go and bring Semenyo, who is also a field stretcher on the left-hand side. It's pointless because that leaves the midfield open. And Rúben wants a midfielder that can, or at a 10. Ronaldo just missed a header, blazed it wide over the bar. Now, Rúben wants a 10 who can drop into mid and carry the ball forward, right? And Semenyo is not that, so it is what it is. Man United are interested in Jobe Bellingham and could make a move after a difficult Dortmund start with Amorim, a fan of the player, and is the son, so you can make of it what you will. Man United are one of multiple Premier League clubs interested in Jobe Bellingham. Younger brother to Real Madrid star Jude. He followed his brother's footsteps to Dortmund in the summer after leaving Sunderland. And then now, according to reports from German outlet Bild, the midfielder's next move could bring him back to the UK. The highly rated prospect has struggled to find minutes under manager Niko Kovac after starting the opening 2 games of the season, and he played some 4 minutes in the 4 league games since, and could grow frustrated at the lack of opportunities at the club, having been the main man at Sunderland last season. These frustrations didn't take long to boil over, with Jobe's father, Mark Bellingham, reportedly storming to the dressing room to confront club officials after the youngster was substituted at halftime in the season opener at St. Pauli. This is the drama we don't want. This is drama we don't want, basically. And obviously, they say United are monitoring. Amorim is a fan, but he better be a fan only for the fact that he's a good player. Not a player that will come and bring drama as well. We'll not start the whole situation with dressing room boiling over and things like that. Now, hear this. However, if game time is a deal breaker in Dortmund, then tales such as that of the consistently snubbed teenager Kobbie Mainoo could be warning sign to steer clear. So, for example, this part of the Sun newspaper is an opinion piece. I'll come to your message. ITN. This is an opinion part, or the opinion piece of this document about Jobe Bellingham, saying, if he's been snubbed based on basically not having game time, how much more Kobbie Mainoo, not having game time as well, Man United, and it could be a warning sign for him. So that is pretty much all about Jobe Bellingham. There's no need to flog the matter. We're coming to the Adam Wharton and Carlos Baleba situation. ITN is saying this is why Mount is loved by Amorim, as he plays him and Mbeumo, for example, as they offer different threats. Facts. Absolute facts. You've just hit the nail on the head by saying that, because in truth, as I've always said on this channel, when Amorim plays Mount and Mbeumo, they are two different players who play as 10s. They're gonna get you goals. Mount gets into the box late, like an attacking midfielder. Mbeumo gets into the box early, like a winger should. So when you now have Mount playing as a 10, you have a situation where he can drop into mid and create midfield overloads, so that we're not overloaded in the midfield. But if you notice, when we have Cunha, if Cunha doesn't drop back, once they play the ball into the midfield, there's nobody to stop the ball or stop the passing lanes. So yeah, it's pretty much straightforward as it is. Currently in the Portugal game, 44 minutes, 1-1 Portugal versus Hungary. Now, with regards to injury updates, we still keep talking about these things, but with regards to injury updates, Lisandro Martinez is nearing a return. Yeah. Yep, I'll come to that. Lisandro Martinez is nearing a return to first team training after recovering from an injury and may be available for selection before November international break, which we talked about yesterday, and we talked about it, analyzed the importance. We still talk about it now. So Lisandro Martinez obviously is an important player in this team, but if I'm going to be very honest, we need another Lisandro Martinez in this team, and that is why I see that Rúben Amorim still keeps playing Luke Shaw at left wing back, because he wants a left-footed centre back to play at left wing back. Everybody keeps saying Luke Shaw is not a left centre back, blah blah blah. Luke Shaw might not have that pace to play a left wing back, but he will have the pace to deal with balls as a left centre back. He's a decent technical player, but playing Luke Shaw at left centre back is in preparation for when Lisandro Martinez comes, so that the team can also know how to play with a left-footed player in the left side of centre back. So if you do that, it creates balance on the right and on the left. So it is what it is. Yeah, so Lisandro Martinez is back, or potentially back, and when the team is back on Thursday, they will have their full team training and stuff and all of that, so he'll probably be there. And this one I never heard of this until now. However, Casemiro has reportedly suffered a setback ahead of the match against Liverpool. Aiden Heaven picked up a knock while playing for the England under 20. We're going to follow the Casemiro news and find out where that's coming from and all of that. But with so with Bellingham, so the ITN is saying Bellingham will be fine at Real Madrid. If he feels a change or to leave, I see PSG taking him on. We are way down the pecking level. So the Bellingham in question here is Jobe Bellingham, not Jude. But Jobe Bellingham could also be a prospect for teams like Tottenham or even Real Madrid. But him going to Tottenham, where does he play? Because there's Xavi Simons as well, playing there as the attacking mid and all of that. And he seems to be doing pretty well, decent, but not like top class, top level and all that. Maybe still getting used to the Premier League and all, but yeah. And Promise says, would really love to see Martinez in his element with the new team. Yeah, with this new team. And Cristiano Ronaldo just scores in the 3rd minute of extra time. This guy never ceases to score, man. He never ceases to score. From 1 goal down to 2-1. Cristiano Ronaldo scores 2 goals. Amazing. Captain leads by example. And I think he's going to over 960 something goals now for Portugal. So with regards to Promise, would really love to see Martinez in his element with this new team. Yeah, there's a chance that Martinez will deliver. I mean, for me, I feel like Martinez is very important in this team, especially if you remember the game where Ahmad scored that goal. Oh, Ronaldo. Wow, what a pass. Who passed that ball? Need to see. I think it was Pedro Neto, and Ronaldo just taps it in. Oh, my days. Okay. Oh, Nuno Mendes, basically. I always love watching that guy play. Yeah. ITN is telling Promise to tell us your thoughts. All good. So, like Shaw is left-footed, which we don't have. Lisandro is the number one. Heaven is the understudy also. You see, that's where there's a how do I call this? A succession plan. That's what I was looking for. Succession plan for left-sided centre backs. So we have Lisandro Martinez, Shaw, and Heaven. Heaven is 18, so it's like he's still got time. Lisandro Martinez is there, 27. Luke Shaw is 30, 31. So like there's loads of succession with regards to them making headway and all of that. With regards to Luke Shaw is left-footed, like you said. So if Lisandro Martinez comes back, Luke Shaw drops to the bench and Lisandro plays. But for me, I feel Lisandro Martinez should not just come back and start. I feel he should just come back and work his way up slowly, not necessarily starting games, but coming in as subs, just to give him ample time to evolve and stuff. The Aiden Heaven situation with the knock and all, it is said that Man United handed injury update after new scare emerges ahead of Liverpool. This was like from 4 days ago. They were given a scare, but the coach came out to say it's not that serious. But then he's been featured on the bench in every other league match so far for United, though suggesting his time could come if more fitness issues were to strike. Now, I want to say something that somebody actually noticed, and I didn't think about it until I started to think and clock things. Probably going to do a research on this with Rúben Amorim or Ten Hag's first 7 games for Manchester United versus Rúben Amorim's first 7 games for Manchester United. What do I want to find out? Because if you look at it from last season to this season, last season, I think after 7 games, we had like 13 points. This season, was it last season? No, not last season. Maybe 2 seasons ago. 2022-23 season. Ten Hag's first season. After 7 games, we had 13 points. In this season, after 7 games, we have 10 points. Despite losing, I think, 2 games in the first 2 games in that season. Now, when we look at it, there's one factor that kind of really tells here. And what I want to find out in that research is the fact that I wanted to see how many injuries Manchester United had in 22-23 season, which is the next first season, and 25-26 season, which is Amorim's first full season. I want to know, because obviously right now the only 2 injured players we have to date, apart from the scare of Casemiro and Eddie Heaven, is Lisandro Martinez. And he's going to be back, so we'll have a fully healthy squad. So yeah, I would like to see what that research, what pans out of that research. ITN is saying Martinez needs consistency without injuries. It's something he's struggling with. It's one doubt I have with him. Perfect. I was going to say that. Lisandro Martinez, ITN is saying that Lisandro Martinez is struggling with injuries. Lisandro Martinez has been injury prone. We're not going to lie about that. In as much as we want to say, oh, he's a good addition to the team, he increases the technicality of the team from the back, he's very strong and very athletic. Is that his strength and how do I say, aggressiveness that also gets him injured most times? He's had a lot of injuries with his knee, his calf, and all of those things. So it's like there is a there's an underlying issue there. He's injury prone. He's 27. He's not getting any younger. So if it was when he was 24 or 25, you could say, okay, he could come back up like a spring chicken. But then he's always injury prone. And that's the issue I have too as well, ITN. Promise is saying, I agree with you on that, ITN. He always has a positive impact when on the team, but most times injured. And we don't get to see him as much. Well, facts. Absolute facts. So yeah, I like that. Let's get involved, let's get talking, let's have conversations and all of that. Just seeing back the first goal that Hungary scored, it was from a set piece. I think it was after like 8 minutes. Oh, nice cross. The keeper missed it. Absolutely missed it. Guess who's the keeper? Diego Costa. Okay. It is what it is. He absolutely missed the thing, and it's not like the goalkeeper touched him, player touched him, but it is what it is. The next news we have is midfielder Kobbie Mainoo is pushing for a Premier League start against Liverpool by showing off a challenging training regime during the international break, though his playing time under Rúben Amorim has been limited. Yeah, you guys, tell me what you think. Kobbie Mainoo is the best CB on the left side. This is ITN saying he's the best CB on the left side. That's unquestioned. He's robust and puts full impact, which is maybe causing many injuries, and it's difficult to balance. Yeah, it's difficult to balance his aggressiveness and, staying fit and all of that, which has also been a challenge. But we also need to kind of, be hopeful that he's able to stay fit, just like we're hoping that Mason Mount stays fit, because now we can all tell that Mason Mount is a very important person in this Man United team. So with regards to Kobbie Mainoo, what do you guys think? Because Kobbie Mainoo is pushing hard for a Premier League start. I don't think he's going to start that game in the Premier League. Amorim is not playing Mainoo. We know how stubborn the manager is here. ITN is saying Amorim is not playing Mainoo. We know how stubborn the manager is. Yeah, that's facts. But for me, I feel Mainoo should just bide his time. Like, there's no need to try to rush. Oh, he wants to make the World Cup team, blah, blah, blah. Right now, as it stands, even Adam Wharton, who is also as good, is not making the England team. What about Elliot Anderson? Elliot Anderson is in the England team. He's currently starting a game for England in the midfield. And England are currently, hold on 1 second. England are currently leading. Yep, 3-0 at halftime against Latvia. Goals by Gordon, Kane, and Kane. So, what do you guys think? It's Rúben Amorim can be stubborn about that, but even look at the lineup. So, in the English lineup, Elliot Anderson, he's having a banger of a game, already at 8.5 rating after first half, according to FotMob. Even better than Declan Rice, and he's doing stuff. He's one player I watched him for Nottingham Forest, and I'll look forward to watching him in the second half of the game for England versus Latvia. I'll follow both the English game and the Portuguese game. But yeah, right, he's doing absolutely well. I think if you look at the best performing team after Kane is Elliot Anderson. After Elliot Anderson is Saka. And you think Kobbie Mainoo is going to compete with this guy who is so versatile? Elliot Anderson is good. His breakout season was this season. I just found out recently that Elliot Anderson played for Newcastle, and Newcastle sold him to Nottingham Forest because of PSR. Now you look at it, he's a breakout guy, and he's going to be worth, I think Newcastle sold him to Nottingham Forest for about 13 million. Now he's going to be worth more than that, more than double that, almost triple. So you think about it that way and you start asking yourself certain questions, right? So I tend to say, and I agree, Kobbie Mainoo just needs to get his head down. So what the manager is asking, and yeah, so get your head down, do what the manager is asking, and leave it there, because soon Amorim will be gone. That's what most people are thinking. That's what most people are believing. Even if Amorim doesn't go, there's space in the squad. I've said this time and again. Just remember this. Brian Mbeumo, Amad Diallo, and Nusra Mazraoui are all leaving for the AFCON on in the second week of December. AFCON starts on the 23rd of December. First game of AFCON starts. So they probably leave 1 week before. In the second week of December, these players will leave for the AFCON. And when they leave for the AFCON, what happens next? They eventually, there's going to be space in the squad. What does that mean? If Bruno is in the squad and is playing as a central midfielder, he moves to a 10, right 10. Obviously, Cunha is on the left 10 or Mount on the left 10. Bruno is on the right 10. Then Menu gets his place in the squad. So you have both the luxury of having Menu and Bruno. And Menu has a short window to prove himself that he can be the mainstay of the squad while Mbeumo and Co are playing in the AFCON. Because definitely they're going to play in the AFCON. It's not like they're going to play in the AFCON, despite the fact that there's some playoff tournaments coming up in November for the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. But with Mbeumo gone as the right 10, Bruno can switch to the right 10, while Menu can go in the mid. That still leaves us short in the midfield, because if there's one injury, everything just goes to pieces. I don't think that Rúben Amorim will want to start. I've never seen him do that. We want to start Casemiro and Ugarte at the same time. That is one thing. So people should stop comparing. Let me just give you straight up what Amorim's midfield structure is like and their replacements. Casemiro and Ugarte are competing for spots in the number 6 deep line defensive because he needs one defensive midfielder, one central midfielder, and 2 attacking midfielders. Now, the defensive midfielder, Casemiro and Ugarte are battling for that spot. Then the central midfielder, Kobe Menu and Bruno are battling for that spot. Then the attacking 10s, you have Mbeumo and Ahmad on the right, you have Cunha and Mount on the left, and then you also have Mbeumo and Xerxes, or you have Xerxes also competing for that right or left. Then in the striking position, then you have Bruno also competing on the left side for Cunha and Mount. Then in the striking position, you have Benjamin Sesko and then Xerxes. So you see how versatile these players are in this position, in this formation. But when you now think about it and bring it down, down in level, down in notch and all of that, you can now totally understand that Rúben Amorim, albeit being stubborn about certain situations like that, believes that his team requires one defensive midfielder and one central midfielder. If you go and bring 2 central midfielders in the team, they will run through us in the middle, and then his job will be on the line. So Kobe Menu needs to bide his time, keep working hard. Everybody's watching. Everybody can see that he's really working hard, and everybody can see that he's putting his head down to be able to achieve great success just by being in that team. It's all up to him to show us what he can do. And then ITN is saying William Anderson is interesting, but ITN is saying he's still not convinced. He says, I think he will fade away in a few years. Not really. If you notice, and why I disagree with you is this: Elliot Anderson is just 22 years old. 22 years old. And he's an all-round player. An all-round central midfielder. Like, basically, look at his stats. He's an all-round player. He plays defensive mid, central mid, attacking mid, left wing. That's how versatile he is, right? He's a central midfielder. He's an attacking midfielder, a left winger, and his main role is defensive midfield. So having someone like Elliot Anderson, who is so versatile, who can play as a central midfielder as well, with pace and ability and all of that, like he's only had 2 bad games this season. Since 31st of August, he's only had 2 bad games: against Newcastle, where they lost 2-0, and against Arsenal, where they lost 3-0. The rest, he's had, if checks FotMob, you'll see, he's only had 2 bad games this season, and those games were losses. The rest, wins and draws. In the games where they won, he was the best player. In the games where they've lost to FC Midtjylland, he was the best player, right? So he's had so many good games, and in truth, I have watched him. I won't say, oh, I'm not convinced. I mean, he gives me that. He wears number 8 for not first. So he gives me that Bruno Fernandes vibes where he goes around everywhere. But the difference between him and Bruno is that Bruno is the kind of guy that will ping those long balls and all that. Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson does not do a lot of ball pinging. He does pinging, but he makes sure his passes go through. He does not do a lot of ball pinging and stuff. So Anderson seems to be a good buy, and he'll be a good squad player, a good squad acquisition. We buy him, and then that adds a little bit of depth in our midfield. And trust me, let me just give you another hint. Manuel Ugarte was signed last season, and you remember the rule that Omar Berada gave with regards to players performing or players delivering. Omar Berada said, after 2 years, if you haven't delivered, you're on your way out. Basically, they're going to find a way to sell you. Now, Manuel Ugarte, this is his second season, and he has to deliver the season. If he doesn't deliver the season, he's on his way out. Casemiro, this is his last season, basically. He's going to be leaving in the summer unless he takes a pay cut, a proper pay cut, right? So that one is done, and I'm sure he'll be going to Saudi afterwards and all that, and he's playing to go to the World Cup next year, so that's pretty much okay. But after that, after the season, I think he's probably done. Now, when you look at this from that perspective, and you look at it from the perspective of the fact that we're going to lose 2 midfielders potentially in the midfield in the summer, then you will see that there's room for at least 2 more midfielders. We need at least 2 more midfielders, not just like having players for numbers. Carlos Baleba, Adam Wharton, Elliot Anderson, Premier League proven, but also have delivered in different ways, and there are 3 different profiles of players that could also fit in this team. But when you look at like someone like Elliot Anderson, who has played, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games this season, including, for both club and country. He played against Serbia, played against Andorra, played against Wales and then currently playing against Latvia. He's putting good performances, barring those 2 games. So we have to just, be positive and hope that this 22-year-old who has a lot to offer. That's just to give you a few stats about him. Expected goals 0.62 this season alone. In total minutes played 630 minutes. And then expected goals on target, XG on target, 0.21. Non-penalty XG 0.62. So he's delivering. He's all greens here. Expected assist 0.80, and he already has 1 assist and all of that. Now, this is one of the arguments that most people who are pushing for Menu to start. This is one of the arguments that they make, and this is what ITN has just said here. Kobbie Mainoo has scored decisive goals from midfield position. I see that his talent is being stunted by Amorim. I have no idea what the manager is thinking. Okay, my question to you, ITN, I'd like to put it in the comment as well, is where do you want Kobbie Mainoo to play in the midfield 4? Let me just tell you the midfield 4. Defensive midfield screens the defense, blocks our passes, and covers the defense. Central midfield orchestrates play, decides what happens in the game, and all of that. In defensive midfield, you have Casemiro. In central midfield, obviously, it's not ideal for Bruno, but it's the central midfielder is also expected to be involved in controlling game, orchestrating game, dictating the tempo of the game, and also be defensively astute. Bruno Fernandes. Then in the right 10, you have Bryan Mbeumo, who is good at stretching the field and ball carrying as well, driving into the box, shooting and scoring. And he scored so many goals last season, 20 goals and 6 assists or 9 assists or whatever. That is Bryan Mbeumo. Left 10, Mason Mount, central midfielder that also plays as an attacking mid. Left 10, drops back into the mid to add numbers. And Mateusz Cunha, 15 goals and 6 assists last season for Wolves, playing from that left 10. In these 4 midfielders, left 10, right 10, central midfielder and defensive midfielder, ITN, tell me in the comments, what position does Kobbie Mainoo play in this team? Because I know I've seen comments where people are saying stuff like, where in the world has it been that a central I mean, a captain is not benched, right? A captain is not benched, and which is the person was referencing. What's his name? Bruno Fernandes. Now, ITN has responded saying Kobe has already been put at 6. Did he do well at 6? I will tell you for a fact, not really, because we're run through. He did it against Grimsby Town. We were run through. They brought him on against Brentford. The third goal that Brentford scored, he lost the ball at the attacking third, and they went on to scores. And then in the number 8 is that central midfield I said to you, right? Number 8 is either plays as an 8 or a 6, so pretty much box to box. Now, and then in the number 10s, the 2 10s, he played that a couple of games when Amorim was trying to figure out what position to put him last season, including the Champions League and all of that. And he did well as an impact player, but not as a 10, because obviously the 10 is required to press consistently, and Mount, Mbeumo, Cunha, they all do it all the time, albeit for Mount and Mbeumo, they both do it consistently. Even Ahmad presses as a 10. Okay? Then all positions, he plays all those positions. I don't doubt that. It's not his fault, clearly, if he is picked. The manager feels he's got tools for any position of those, right? Okay. Now, another thing at the beginning of the season, we saw with Rúben Amorim stating that Kobe Menu is a talented player. He acknowledged that, never said anything bad about Kobe Menu, even about his professionalism. But he also said that Kobe Menu needs to work on 3 things. I remember it correctly. He says he needs to work on his speed, his mobility, and there's one thing he said, rhythm. Speed, mobility, and rhythm, which is one thing I see Kobe Menu doing consistently. But obviously, the media are going to come out because they're advocating for him, and it's Manchester United, and he gets them clicks in it. So, yeah, and you said for you, he's an 8. So he's that central midfielder, which I totally agree with you on. He's that central midfielder. But in this situation, I know from what you're saying that you want Bruno to be on the bench. But Bruno is your number 1 chance creator. Let me give you this scenario of what usually happens in games. Mason Mount plays. He starts. Bruno goes in the midfield. Cunha is on the bench. Mbeumo is playing on the right 10. And then at the 70th minute or 65th minute, Mason Mount is subbed off to manage his load. Cunha is brought on to make an impact. And then around the 70th minute or 75th minute, Mbeumo is brought off, and then Bruno is pushed up to the right 10, and then Kobe Menu is brought into the midfield. That's how it has been. He's the closest to Pogba. Let me tell you something. I watched Kobe Menu in 2020. This is to tell you how much of academic football I also watched. I watched Kobe Menu from 2020 to 2022 when they made the FA Youth Cup final. That guy gives me the Pogba vibes. Then he was lanky. Now he's a bit bulky. Then he was lanky. He just, he's so silky on the ball. He's able to pass, make long passes, switch plays, dictate games, control stuff. I mean, people have likened him to, what's his name? They've likened him to Clarence Seedorf, right? So he's a good player, right? He's close to Pogba. I can think of exactly. The talent is there for sure. Nobody's denying that. In this midfield, it's the disgrace he's not getting minutes. He will get minutes eventually. I agree with you. He will get minutes eventually. We just need to, not put pressure on the player, because the truth is, he comes on, he's played multiple times, he gets in. That was the issue last season. Why he didn't break into this team last season was because of the injuries. He had played a lot of games under Ten Hag, and then when it was time to now deliver in a new formation, he got injured for the most part. So we're gonna keep an eye on that. With regards to the midfield situation and all of that, we need to actually just hope that Manchester United can be able to secure a midfielder that will also create competition in the team. Man United will wear the white 25-26 away kit for Man United wear the white 25-26 away kit for the first time in a competitive game against Liverpool on Sunday. On Sunday, October 19th, Manchester United women will face Atletico Madrid in UEFA Women's Champions League, October 14th, and that is today. We're going to keep an eye on that. We'll observe. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Also, Rasmus Højlund is enjoying a successful loan spell at Napoli, scoring 4 goals in 6 games, including a brace in the Champions League. Yeah, what do you guys think, Rasmus Højlund? There's a whole lot of news going on. Feeling for the Sunday, yeah. We'll talk about that, yeah. Before the stream's over, we'll talk about that, yeah. Now, let's talk about the situation with Manchester United being handed major double transfer blow ahead of January transfer window. So Man United's midfield search hits roadblocks, basically. Man United's plans to reinforce the midfield in January appear to have, stalled before negotiations even began, with multiple targets effectively off the table, according to TalkSPORT. Brighton are unwilling to sanction a sale for Carlos Baleba until next summer, despite ongoing links with Old Trafford. And I think the CEO came out the other day. I'll come to the lineup, ITN, I've not forgotten. The CEO came on to say that Baleba is fully committed to Brighton, and there's no chance he's going to be sold. But we'll keep an eye on that. Also, with regards to Baleba being blocked by Brighton, the 21-year-old has been identified as a possible long-term partner for Kobbie Mainoo, but any hopes of accelerating talks have faded. As TalkSPORT revealed, Brighton have no plans to cash in on the United target, Carlos Baleba, this side of the summer. Speculations that Cameroon International was unsettled was also dismissed, with suggestions the 21-year-old is unhappy on the Sussex coast and is pushing for a transfer played down. Then Baleba's form has reportedly dipped amid the noise. Manager Fabian Hürzeler acknowledged the distraction, stating his midfielder has been affected by speculations linking him to Old Trafford. Brighton owner Tony Bloom, that's the one I was talking about, never want to be pressured into selling. He's said to be confident that Baleba's price and market value will only grow. So we'll keep an eye on that. What do you guys think about Carlos Baleba? I mean, I saw news yesterday that Carlos Baleba Brighton are asking for 120 million. I know it's speculation, but people are also saying, my fans are also saying, with this form, he's not even worth 120 million, but it is what it is. Also, Adam Wharton is unavailable as well. Manchester United had hoped to pivot towards Adam Wharton of Crystal Palace, but the door has closed too. Palace chairman Steve Parish told TalkSPORT directly that the club are under no financial obligation to sell. Wharton's stock is rising rapidly after his breakout campaign, and losing him mid-season would disrupt Palace's setup. Now, Bellingham's interest complicated, which I just talked about, but we'll just talk about it. This is according to I think One Football and Yahoo Sports. Bellingham's interest complicated. Borussia Dortmund's Jobe Bellingham is another name on United's list. However, TalkSPORT notes that is seen as a difficult deal to do mid-season. Palace, on the other, Palace are themselves monitoring situations, suggesting that United could find themselves outbid or outmaneuvered unless they move decisively. With three primary midfield targets either ruled out or delayed, Manchester United could face a prospect of entry 2026 without reinforcements. Without the reinforcements many supporters believe is necessary. Yeah. What do you guys think? Because plan A, plan B, plan C, all done. Anyway, I don't think Bellingham was ever plan C. I think Elliot Anderson was plan C, but plan A, Baleba, plan B, Wharton, and now we have the complicated situation of Jobe Bellingham, third. Now, about my feeling about the game. This is what Etienne is asking. He says, how are you feeling for Sunday? What do you see in the lineup? Yeah, I will do my match preview. I think I'll do that match preview when? Tomorrow or the day after? I'll probably do it on Thursday when the players are back and we've known the full fitness, so we can actually have a sense of an idea of what we were looking forward to. But then I feel nervous about Sunday, but I feel confident to an extent, because when you look at it from the perspective of Liverpool, they're not doing so well, especially in defense. Their defense is fragile. The defense is very fragile. So my thoughts would be that it will be a hard-fought game and a hard-fought win for Man United. Probably 1-0, in the region of 1-0 or 2-1 or something. Maybe Liverpool will score us first and then we'll come back or something. But it's Anfield. That's the thing. Anyway, we'll keep our eye on, we'll do our research and talk about this when the time comes. So yeah, for the lineup, I think the same team that started against Sunderland should start that game against Liverpool. We have the opportunity to pounce, and these players have been playing games, throughout the international break. Mason Mount is fully rested. Benjamin Sesko has played 2 games back-to-back in the international break and full 90 minutes, just so we all know. He played yesterday, and I'm pretty sure he'll be going back to England to return to training by Thursday. Then Bruno has played, I think, 65 minutes each in the first 65 minutes in the first game, and currently playing in this one, and they're winning 2-1, and 58 minutes Bruno has still been playing. So yeah, it's one to watch basically for Liverpool. We're ready. I also think that with regards to the defense, Lenioro played the under-21s. Luke Shaw is rested. De Ligt didn't go, so he's fully rested. Saint Lomans unused sub for Belgium, fully rested. Who else? In mid, Casemiro has played 2 games, right? 90 minutes, albeit they lost the last one to Japan. And they played that last night. And then who else? Bumo has played 2 games. They drew their last game, so they are in the playoffs for the World Cup qualifiers as best losers. Who else? Ahmad played 1 game and was benched in the second. Sesko played 2 games, like I said. Who else? Cunha played 2 games, one as a sub, the other one he started and was subbed off. So yeah. So I will try and analyze more, basically, with regards to the Liverpool game by Thursday. Just be on the lookout. Probably we'll do it as a live, or we'll see. The live preview, I don't know how that works, but we'll work around it. Also, he said, okay, Etienne is saying, just going back to your next comment, Etienne is saying, kudos to Højlund. I knew he would do better when chance creation for forward improves. It's showing now. Good luck to him. So yeah, people are saying that, it's the Man United factor and all of that. Yeah. Also, there's also the ability for the midfield to create chances for him. There's so many narratives that people pushed with regards to Rasmus Højlund and the issue with the midfield. Everybody looking for who they're going to blame, especially Bruno taking the full blame by fans and all of that. Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. Also, with regards to, and then obviously there's no need to push any narrative, because the media are going to push anything they want to push to ensure that Man United is slagged so that they can get clicks. For Baleba wants to leave, according to ITN, saying Baleba wants to go to United. That's clear. Now Brighton are moaning about his form. They know this is their fault. Yep. Also, I understand they could have easily found a replacement for him, but they chose not to. So they now decided to block the move to Manchester United. Like I said, we're going to keep our eye out for it. Semedo is cooking keckers. That is sick. Bruno just shot a ball that is saved by the keeper. Oh, hit the post. Amazing. Left-footed shot, hit the post. Keeper touched it, and this is the second shot Bruno is hitting that the keeper is touching, and he's hitting the post. It's like Portugal are just peppering Hungary. Another post. Oh my days. This was from Rúben Diaz. A shot from like 25 yards. Hit the post. Yeah, so Portugal are peppering Hungary. I'm hungry. I have nothing on them. Now they've brought in João Palhinha. And they've taken out Pedro Neto and Rúben Neves. Then Conceição has been brought in as well. I think they should take out Bruno, man. We need him. Then they brought in Jobe Pedro. Jobe Pedro? No, not Jobe Pedro. One sec. So they brought in João Felix, Pedro Neto, and Conceição. Yeah, they subbed Bruno off. Yes, thank you. They subbed Bruno. They subbed off Bruno, and they brought in Francisco Conceição. Yep. Yeah, I like that. I mean, Bruno gets a rest. So Bruno played 60 minutes in this one. So, yeah, Brighton are moving thick, basically. So it means that Bernardo Silva is playing central midfield in Bruno's position. Yeah. Let's see. Conceição pressing. Woo! Conceição crossed the ball and Ronaldo headed it. João Felix headed it down and the keeper saved it. That was sick. Now, over to, another news that I saw. It's been trending the last 2 days, basically. Former scout says Manchester United are keeping an eye on Bayern Munich's talent, which is a good option for Amorim. That's the question he's asking. In recent interview, former Premier League scout Mick Brown claimed that Manchester United are keeping an eye on Bayern Munich talent Alexander Pavlovic. Brown said that we know Amorim wants to sign a midfielder in January. They need somebody who gets about the pitch, isn't afraid to put in their foot in, has a drive and an energy about him to make the difference all over the pitch, but also somebody who can keep possession of the ball and help them advance up the pitch, because at the moment they are relying very much on Bruno Fernandes. Ideally, they would get somebody like Moises Caicedo who does a bit of everything at Chelsea. They've been having a look at a lot of options across Europe. We've spoken before about players like Wharton, for example, from the Premier League. The Bayern Munich lad Pavlovic is somebody on the radar and somebody they have been looking at. Whether or not they will be willing to let him go, that will be up to United to find out. They are watching him and a number of other options from John. So he didn't really say anything. He just really suggested, basically, that's his opinion on it. But it is what it is. Alexander Pavlovic, I don't really know much about him. I've watched only a few games, especially in the Champions League, where he's really played well. And basically, I can't really say, he's the best player suited for Man United. Yeah. So, pretty much straightforward. Man United loaned out Rasmus Højlund and expected to complete a permanent sale for to Napoli. The Red Devils are so this other news about Napoli buying. So he's saying Napoli are keen to buy Højlund regardless of obligation. Most observers expect Partenope to finish at the top four. After all, they are the league's reigning champions and arguably the favourites to retain their Scudetto crown. Nevertheless, Napoli have made it clear that they intend to buy Højlund even if the obligation isn't activated. Yep, Okubmenu is there still. So, yep, exactly. As I said, why do we need to sign specific players when we already have them in our squad? Right? What I think we should be doing is trying to find a way to bridge the gap between the academy and the first team. There's a huge disparity and a huge gap between the academy and the first team. But no, they're linking us to midfields all over the world and all around Europe. ITN is saying Pavlovic is okay, but he can give us help. He's okay, he can give us help, but Kobimenu is still there. So I don't understand. Yeah. Like I said, they'll push anything I have another one. I have receipts and evidence of the media bias, and I've always been talking about it in all the videos. But yeah, now just to give you a quick roundup of all the news from Manchester United as of today. Benjamin Sesko, Hungary just blazed the ball over the bar, a header over the bar. Benjamin Sesko started for Slovenia in a 0-0 draw against Switzerland, as I said. Brian Bumo started for Cameroon in a 0-0 draw against Angola. And obviously that put them in the qualifying knockout stage and playoffs. Then Lenny Yoro started for France on the 21 team yesterday, and they beat Estonia 6-1. He played 45 minutes. Manchester United were at 2025-26 away kit for the first time in a competitive game against Liverpool. As per Fabrizio Romano, Kobbie Mainoo is trying his best and working hard and creating no problems. Is he supposed to create a problem? Yeah, I'll come to that. Is it supposed to create a problem at the squad, or just supposed to keep working hard? Anyway, we've talked about it. Fabrizio Romano always says something. Working hard to create, and he's creating no problems at Manchester United. Rúben Amorim wants him to stay, but the story could pick up again if he's not playing, as several clubs from England, Spain, and Italy are interested in Kobbie Mainoo. As per Fabrizio Romano again, Manchester United are interested in Adam Wharton. However, Crystal Palace are focused on the season with the player and not interested in selling in January. The situation will be assessed in 2026. So Wharton's situation for January is done. As per Daily Mail, Lisandro Martinez will step back up to the first team training this week. He's eyeing the Brighton and Nottingham Forest futures as targets to his return. And then we have the Bild. As per Bild in Germany, Man United are interested in Jobe Bellingham, with the midfielder growing frustrated over his lack of playing time out. So that's pretty much all the news roundup. Then, speaking of Pavlovic, before we go to Diego Leon, ITN is asking about Diego Leon here. Pavlovic, obviously, Man United are monitoring. Ooh, that was a very long one. Nearly. Diego Costa was nearly caught off guard as the Hungary midfielder just shot the ball, and basically it almost went in, but it blazed left of the post from the player's perspective. Anyway, minor scouts are monitoring Germany and Bayern midfielder Alexander Pavlovic ahead of January swoop. The club are desperate to sign defensive midfielder and solve their concerns over the position. They are also linked with still same story. That's according to Transfers Live. Then Matheus Cunha, according to his progression or on his progression as a player, he said, I play my entire youth career as a midfielder, and when I became a professional, I encountered this world of 4-3-3. It seems like you have to adapt, either play center forward, winger, or 8. Okay. They eliminated the midfielder position. So I'm trying to understand what midfielder position is talking about. Is it central midfielder? They played as a central midfielder, and then they eliminated the position and made it either a defensive midfielder or left or right mid, or a winger or a forward. And so he has to adapt, but I see it positively, as it has given me experience, many more positions, and even more so in short-term tournaments with the national team. So having a versatile player is a huge help for the coach, and that is what he said to GEG Lobo. Then that is pretty much it. The next one is just the research I'm carrying out with regards to what is happening with the media and their bias. Before we wrap this up, another one I have, Laurie Whitwell on Turkey Al Sheikh's tweet about the Manchester United being in advanced talks to sell to an investor. If he puts something out there like that, this is what he was referring to Turkey Al Sheikh's tweet. He says, okay, Portugal have defended their counter-attack. They've defended their box in a counter, and Conceição with the ball, and the ref calls the ball back. God damn it. Anyway, but we were saying, if you put something out there like that, there's some reason to it. I would say, however, I've got no information. This is from Laurie Whitwell. I've got no information to that degree, and Manchester United were taken aback by it. That being said, this is what Laurie Whitwell said. The nuance of this is of this is there is a relationship with Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazer family, an unusual construct with them being majority owners, Glazers, and Sir Jim running the club in all aspects. How long will that be the case? So what he's trying to say is, how long will the relationship continue like that? Then he says we can get on the drag along clause right soon. But the Glazers could be having talks about their own shares and Ratcliffe wouldn't know. I'm not saying that's happening. I do not have any information to that. So he's saying that the Glazers could also be having conversations about, that's pretty much an update where we say the Glazers could be having conversations about their own shares, not about the ones involving Sir Jim Ratcliffe, and we will never know. So we have to just think about it from that perspective. Then he also said, I slid him. So this is, Lord was saying he messaged Turkey Al Sheikh. He said, I slid him a DM, asked him if he would like to clarify anything about the statement. He didn't reply, but he did go public. He basically said that I'm not involved, but I have heard suggestions to the extent that back up the first tweet. It's interesting. Let's see how things come out or how things pan out. So, just wow, hit the crossbar. Hungary had a chance to score and he hit the crossbar, and then Portugal just managed to save it. That actually beat Diogo Costa. But it's what it is. Now, ITN is asking about, before we wrap this up, ITN is asking about Diogo Leon. What's his status? Is he squad member now and they don't want to loan him out? I believe he should be getting minutes as well, or loan out. For Diogo Leon played for the under-21s when he started at Man United, and he looked a little bit out of place when I watched that game. Then Portugal having an attack. Bernardo Silva shoots it and it goes wide. Oh, that's not Vitinha, rather. Vitinha shoots it and it goes wide. Amazing. Anyway, so Diogo Leon started basically playing for the under-18s, under-21s, and played like 2 games or 3 games, and he looked a bit out of place, maybe looked even not fully fit, and he looked like he put on some weight a little bit. I don't know, maybe it's jersey or something, but it looked like he put on a bit of mass. But he's already a big lad, right? But I think also the pressure of just being at Man United is huge. Basically, maybe he thought, considering coming to a club like this, he was going to, we saw all those quotes. Portugal have an attack, and that was a dirty shot. Who was that? Good pressing, Cristiano Ronaldo, and that's it. They've lost that ball. Now he found his way into the he came to Manchester United, and it looked like, okay, I'm going to come and I'm going to do things. There are so many quotes that he made that time that people translated, and I'm like, this guy, this is the mentality, this and that. And lo and behold, he came on, and in preseason I could see that the how massive the club actually shocked him, and he became a bit like, would I say down, or he felt a bit, how do I call it? But then he's knuckled down and tried to play. But as regards to the second part of the question where you asked about him being a team member, yes, he has been an unused sub for all 7 Premier League games. He has been on a unused sub. And obviously asking about him being a team member, he's already part of the first team. Is he going to be going out on loan? I haven't heard or read anything of that nature, because obviously we need at least an option, a left wing back. Even when the AFCON comes, we will need options, right? We need options. So we'll keep our eye out on that. And then with regards to loan, I don't think Amorim is going to let him go on loan. Should he be getting minutes? Absolutely. But is he fully fit? That's the question. Right, so that's pretty much what it is. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for your comments. I love this interaction. It was pretty interesting hearing your questions, especially from you, ITN. Thank you for your support and for always backing the channel and all of that. I really appreciate it. Big up to you. We'll keep you updated, but I'm doing an interesting research on Manchester United agenda, and that is, just to give you a hint, that is on the narratives that they like to push when it comes to Manchester United players and all of that. So I'll let you know. I'll put that out when I've completed the research and stuff. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't already, please do like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't have to miss anything as relates to Manchester United. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye, and God bless.